Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. I have written a bunch of books, a bunch under my own name, and I've ghostwritten many more for others. Each time you submit a book to your literary agent, who then submits it to publishers for consideration, you are waiting. There's a period of waiting and waiting and hoping and waiting and hoping that this thing will work. I've learned to not bother anyone about whether or not they like it or whether or not it's accepted or which part spoke to them or how it is. It just doesn't work like that. They come back and say there's a deal. And then you're like, did you like it? I'm like, well, of course they liked it. They bought it. But in that period of waiting, it can feel like you've lost when you haven't. And when you kind of resign yourself to that, even when you win, the outcome feels as if you've lost. And I'll submit that if you spend too much time in that, you will lose because you've created that scenario. But that's a story for another day. We spend this much time, I'll use, for example, a wedding, the birth of a child, or graduation. We spend all the time with decorating the event, with making the event a thing, so much so that we now spend that much time with even gender reveals and all this with the waiting part. But we don't spend any energy on, what is the marriage going to look like after the wedding? Maybe if we spent some of that planning time on the marriage and less on the wedding. Maybe if we spent some of that planning time on life after graduation instead of the day of graduation and the new car and the this and the that. Maybe if we spent some of that imagination and thinking on the work that's going to need to be done after you get the book deal, because there's almost more work after you get the big book deal as there was leading up to it. Today, I'd like you to imagine a better world. I'd like you to imagine your life after winning. I'd like you to imagine the work that you need to do to love your neighbor as yourself. I'd like you to do the work that's necessary to embrace someone whose ideas are so different from yours that helping them cross the bridge back into their own sanity will be your work. I'd like you to imagine that we are all connected and that even though I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with your philosophy or people who don't care for me, I'm going to spend some energy in prayer for them. We spend so much time worrying about what if and harassing folk about did you and is it and will you. We should spend more time controlling our own production, the one that happens in our mind. I'm writing a beautiful story, and it involves all of us being able to tell our own stories and to see our lives better because they reach out to help somebody else. I got a lot of work to do today. I'm going to start by going to the dentist for my teeth cleaning. I like the 7 o'clock appointment because, it's early. But even at that, People say, "What do you do to keep your teeth so clean?" I clean them. I love you. And that love comes from maintenance. It's not one day of big production, it's every day. I love you.